Hey, greetings. Wow, it's Tuesday already. It's another episode of Talk Tuesday with Vanessa. And for those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Vanessa and I'm a lifestyle coach for mums, and I'm educating mums of all ages to build your resilience, whether that be in your physical health, your emotional well-being, your mental well-being, and I also talk about spiritual things. Now, if you've been following this series, so I launched it 2 weeks ago. It's called Talk Tuesday. I have really put it together because in September, I'm so delighted to have an opportunity to work with some fantastic men and women. So together we are presenting a virtual online event over 2 evenings. It's called Future Proof Your Family. And what I've been doing over the last 2 weeks, so this is my third episode of Talk Tuesday, is really bringing those contributors in to, introducing them essentially to you. So this week, I have an opportunity to speak with a woman who I've spoken with before. In fact, we'll have a chat about where how we actually originally connected. But as you know, I do believe in divine timing. And sometimes, you may meet somebody in your life and you really love their energy, you want to work with them, but the timing is just not right. So I'm so honored and grateful that the timing was right. I asked her to join this event that we're doing, and she was so enthusiastic because she's a really enthusiastic woman anyway, lovely woman. Her name is Ritchie. She's a fertility coach. Her company is called OptiMum Fertility. I love the name. So let's bring her on. Sue, welcome. Yay.
Hi. Lovely to be here, Vanessa.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Even if it's just a Tuesday this week so far.
Exactly. I cannot believe it is only Tuesday, but it kind of feels like time's going really quickly. I don't know about how you're feeling about things, so.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know. It's like I'm just thinking, we're not far off the beginning of September now, and I'm thinking, where has the year gone? It just seemed to have zapped past.
It has. I mean, what I will say, I'll reveal it now. I put it in the description, but the registration page is open for the event.
Woo!
And I know, woohoo! And I put a timer on the registration page, so. And when I was setting it up, it said it was 50 days to go until the event.
Really?
And,
wow.
Well, that's when I was setting it up. But now it's something like 32 days to go until the event. So we are now on our countdown, and I just cannot believe how it's all coming together. I'm so happy and grateful it's coming together. And obviously having someone like yourself on the guest contributor list, it's making the event even more special. So let's find out. So let's find out who you are. So we know your name, we know you're the fertility coach, but where are you in the world and what's led you to do what you do, please, Sue?
Oh, right. Well, I'm in sort of in the East Midlands, so somewhere in between Nottingham, Derby, and Leicester. Probably the nearest town is Loughborough. And it's quite a sort of, I suppose, interesting journey in a way of how I've got to do what I'm doing. But I'll have to cut it sort of, quite short, if you like. But it really, it sort of started with me, actually. And I have to explain my life. I had a sort of a corporate marketing career, and then I had my own direct marketing business. And I really was, a workaholic, and I would, be looking after everybody else, and I wasn't looking after myself. And that led, I suppose now, probably, I don't know how many years ago now, but certainly maybe 10, 12 years ago now, to being diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, which I had so many other health issues going on at the same time as well, with memory problems and brain fog and joint pain, and as well as having low energy. And it was a real struggle, not only to live life, but also when you're running a business as well, to manage all of that. And what made it worse was that I had an experience previously of sort of working with alternative health practitioner. I had terrible sinus problems, and by changing some things in my diet, I managed to get rid of it. So when I was diagnosed, my first thing was to say to my doctor, well, I can get my immune system back on track and get well again. And I was literally, I think, shocked and taken aback when she almost shouted. Well, she did really shout at me, had a raised voice anyway, telling me it was impossible and I'd be on medication for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And for me, I see it as, and I'm really grateful for actually having that illness now, because it was a big wake-up call for me to start living my life differently, getting a good work-life balance, and starting to take care of myself and putting myself first. And basically, to cut the long story short, is that I made a decision that I would do everything to find out how I could get myself well again. Did loads of research, found out that the one element of it was that root cause lay in my gut health. And since then, I'm so passionate about the whole topic of gut health. It's so important and fundamental to our health. And also, went through some, personal, healing stuff from my childhood. Because everything is we are, if you like, mind, body and spirit, and everything all has an impact on our health. It's not just the physical stuff. And made some changes to my diet, and amazingly within 3 months I started to feel a whole lot better. All the health issues had gone. I lost 2.5 stone in weight, so that's about 35 pounds. And I then really sort of over the next 18 months, I was able to cut back on the medication until I came off it and was totally recovered. And from then it was like, there's lots of other women like me suffering with autoimmune diseases and not really getting the help that they need to recover from their doctors. And, I need to, get out there and help them too. And, and immediately I thought that I'd be working mainly with women in their 40s and their 50s, which I was. But increasingly, I found that I was working with women in their early 20s and maybe even late teens, who had, serious health issues, which their doctors were not able to help them with. They were being given, some horrendous drugs, if you like, chemo drugs and brain tumor drugs. I had stories from some of them on the off chance that it might make them, it might work. And what I realized was that with young people is that their diet, if you like, in their lifetime, so different from the way I was brought up, has had a huge impact on their gut health. And that was really what's happening. And so from there, I sort of, I worked, have helped people transform their health and their lives, if you like, for about 8 years. And then a couple of years ago, I really got to the point where I felt there was something missing. And I've always loved children ever since I was a child. I didn't have my children till quite late in life. I was sort of 30 and single and had all those feelings of, gosh, what's going to happen if I don't have them, and how, and I was getting quite upset at times, that thinking that it might never happen for me. Luckily it did. But what I realized is that if you want to see changes in the world, you have to start at the point at which things happen. And so many children are coming into this world today, and so many children have health issues. And having an issue when you're a child, is not going to really bode terribly well as you sort of go into adulthood, because you can't often carry that with you. So for me, it was like, well, what I really need to do is to help people to really prepare themselves ready for conception, so that we bring more children into the world that are healthy, but also that they have healthy, happy and positive parents as well. Because to me, that's the best gift that you can give to your child. And I just love to see more children coming into the world who, really have self-love and, have belief in themselves that they can achieve whatever they want in life.
Wow. So that is a real, like I said, the journey has started with yourself. So that's interesting that you really needed to kind of look at your own life and prioritize your health. And that's led you to a pathway where you've realized you can give so much more to couples. I was reading I've obviously read your biography for the event, but when when I looked at your LinkedIn page, and it said that you are supporting couples that are desperate to have a child. And of course, there are many couples, like you said, when you eventually started to think about having your children, you didn't have any problems. But for other couples, they have had problems. I mean, myself included. I'm a young mum with my older children, so I didn't have any problems conceiving. But when it comes to little Zenta, I was definitely at a point where if I'd have known you back then, I would have been connecting with you to seek some support. I mean, ironically, as it happened, by looking at my nutrition, really focusing on my exercises, and I did drop, I think it was 2 or 3 dress sizes, so that helped. And I think just looking after myself in the sense of not putting so much focus on wanting to have a child, enjoying my life, focusing on my own self-love, then Zenta was conceived naturally. But Mark and I had been together for 8 years by the time Zenta came along. So, you've interviewed me yourself on
I have
your
indeed.
podcast, so you've heard that part of my story.
Yeah.
So it's incredible that, there are things that we can do. I didn't actually go and see any doctors or anything like that. I just kind of accepted it. And when we had a chat at the weekend, we were talking about that, weren't we, Sue? That for many who are going through any problems, difficulties, challenges conceiving, it's not necessarily something that you are talking about on social media. So yes, I feel comfortable talking about it now because we've come through the other side. But we were at that point where, within the family circle, we'd been together for a long time. And I think people had stopped asking us, oh, when are you going to have a little one then? It was becoming quite an awkward conversation. So you and I spoke at the weekend and we said, for those who are going through this traumatic, because it can be very traumatic, you're questioning so much about yourself,
Absolutely.
It's not something that you're speaking about. So what I want to find out, you've told us about why you're doing it, but how do you feel that you can, well, we know that you're supporting the couples with the programs, but how do we get over that kind of barrier of this communication? And it's a little bit of a taboo subject, so I'm just going to reference the menopause quickly. I said to Mark, a few years ago, nobody was talking about the menopause. Now everybody's a menopause coach, which is great. We've got that information.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important.
I kind of feel that your fertility issues can be a subject where it's not really that widely spoken about for whatever reasons. I mean, what would you recommend, or what are your thoughts on those challenges around how we're not really expressing this?
I think it's really sad, really, and I think unfortunately, there's I think as women, when we can't do, if you like, what we expect our bodies to do naturally, there's an awful lot of shame, if you like, that's involved, and feelings of being a failure and not deserving, to have a child, that you've done something wrong to be in this situation. And I think we really have to move away from that and just realize that actually, there are, in fact, 1 in 7 heterosexual couples today are struggling, to conceive. But interesting as well that actually 25% of those, there's nothing physically actually wrong, from a reproductive point of view. And because of that, there are things that are in your control that you can actually do something, to actually improve your fertility so that, you can, increase the chances of conceiving. But I think, we really need to be talking about this subject more openly. And, and I think that needs more, we need so much more education, particularly as well, at school with teenage girls, and boys too, because, it's, I think, well, I remember, I don't know about you, but when I was at school, which is a long time ago now, and I think it's probably still the same, the focus is very much on, it's very easy to get pregnant, and they tell us all, how we need to not get pregnant. But we're never sort of educated on, how important certain things are, like health and nutrition and stuff like that, and mindset and things like that, and your age, if you like, as well. How important these are in the whole, issue of getting pregnant and fertility. And actually, in reality, getting pregnant is quite difficult.
Wow. So let's talk about the how. So we know that you're a guest contributor at the event, which is the 28th and the 29th of September. I believe I put you on day 1, if I can remember the program.
You have, yes,
properly.
Well, I got it in my diary as day 1, so hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be Wednesday the 28th. And I love the title of your talk. It is "Mum, Your Health Really Matters to Me," because you explain it. Why did you choose that title?
Because I think the thing is that health, I think a lot of people don't really understand how important health is to the health of your baby. And unfortunately, and it's not through anybody's fault, but our doctors are not trained really in nutrition, so it's not really their area of expertise. So even those sort of issues and weight loss and things like that is not what they can really help people with. Plus, they don't have the time to really help people with emotional stuff and support either, because they have limited time slots for helping people. But the reality is that at the health of your baby starts at the point of conception, because the healthier you are, the more likely you are to have healthy eggs, and the healthier your partner is. And yes, men, you need to be involved in this. It's a 50-50 scenario. And the healthier the man is, the more healthy his sperm is going to be as well. And I think we have to talk about the fact that a lot of men think that age doesn't matter when it comes to sperm health for them, but actually it matters just as much as it does for a woman. And sperm health, if you like, deteriorates with age.
Wow.
So
that's a lot. But I think as well, the message that we're putting out there is it's not just the couple who haven't got a child. It could be the couple like Mark and I were in that position, where you've got one part of the couple has already had children, but you come together and you're not conceiving. Or there are definitely families who they have age gaps within their family where they've got the same mum and dad, because for whatever reason, conceiving the next child wasn't as straightforward. So I don't know if you wanted to expand on that at all.
Oh yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And I think, quite often people sort of find that, the first child or the first 2 children that they have maybe when they're younger, they conceive quite quickly and that, and easily. So when then if they're older and they're looking to conceive another child, it can be quite disheartening, if you like, and I guess you get into that really sort of desperate place where you think, well, it happened easily last time, why is it not happening for me now? But obviously a lot of factors have changed in that period of time as well. Not only have you got older, but also life gets busier, life gets more stressful, and all of those things, which all actually have an impact on your ability to conceive.
Wow. And other factors like lack of sleep. So you've read my post today where I was saying I'm sleep deprived. But no, this is fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up. But what I'm interested in finding out from you, Sue, because you're giving away a copy of your fantastic guide as well. So I'm really grateful for you doing that. So anyone who upgrades to the VIP lounge, as I've called it, they can get that and other goodies and freebies and discounts. So you'll have to check out the registration page. But for yourself, Sue, are you going to be speaking anywhere else this year, or have you got any programs that you're wanting to tell us about at this stage?
Well, actually, I am going to be speaking at a couple of things actually in October, which is really great, and I'm looking forward to that. What I'm actually doing is that I'm actually going to be launching a 3-month program in the next few weeks, which is really it's really going to focus very much on, if you like, the 3 months, I suppose, I've taken because that's how long it takes for you to go through the egg cycle to get to a new set of eggs, if you like. So by going through the 3-month program with me, I'm helping couples to get into a really good place so that they've got healthy sperm, they've got healthy eggs, and it's going to increase their chances of conceiving.
Wow. So that explosion in the birth rate next year, particularly when we can track it back to anybody who's been following you in the event that you're doing with me and the events that you'll be doing in October. When we see that explosion in 2023, we'll know that Sue has been working her magic. So Sue, it's been fantastic to speak with you. We didn't actually, I'm just going to weave this in actually, because with the other contributors who are coming on to the session, I feel like I'm only just getting to know them. But with you, we've known each other for a while. And I remembered when you telephoned me, I don't know if you remembered that. You introduced yourself because obviously I'm in the East Midlands in Nottingham.
Yeah.
And you reached out to me and you telephoned me, but again it was like divine timing. At that point I wasn't actually focusing on working with mums, I was working with women, but again, once my life had changed having little Zenta, and I really put that focus together, then we've connected in a business network, and we've only just met each other 2 weeks ago, was it?
I know, but it's really strange because when we met physically, it was like I felt that I knew you anyway, and it was like it wasn't odd, or I didn't really even actually think about, oh gosh, we have never met physically before. So it was so natural.
Yeah, and it was just so lovely to receive that hug, and that heart-to-heart connection was amazing. So for me, so any viewers now, we do have little Zenta in the room with the most noisiest toy. Mark, do you mind coming to grab him for me, please? Thank you.
Bless him.
Yeah, well, he's got... Yeah, thank you. He's got the chicken pox. So for any viewers following my story this week, Zenta's got chicken pox, but he seems to be coping quite well with it. So Sue, I'm going to let you go. Just hang on in the green room for me while I wrap up here. But thank you so much. You're going to be on the day 1 program. So, and what we said as well at the weekend is for anybody who knows of people in their family, people in their workplace, because we know this isn't a conversation that people are posting about on social media. It's a delicate subject. So if you are watching this on the replay. We really appreciate the fact that you're watching this, but what we're asking for is, if you know somebody who's struggling with their fertility issues, then please do invite them along to the event. It is a complimentary event, so we welcome mums, dads, anybody who's saying, actually, let me check that information out because I can pass it on to somebody that I know. So, Sue, do you have any closing words before I wrap up here?
No, I was just going to say that, I think that, or really second what you were saying, that, if you know anybody, right now who, is struggling to conceive and, having problems in that, situation, then, you can very confidentially, if you like, just pass them the link to the event. And I know people don't want to share, this, what's going on for them, if you like. And, but, it's a great way just to share the link, if you like, and then they can register to join the event.
So we're on a countdown. So Sue, it's been great to chat with you this evening. I will speak to you in the green room shortly. I would just wrap up the call. Thank you very much.
That's lovely. No, thanks. It's been great. Love to chat with you. Take care.
You too, Sue. Wow, so that was the third guest contributor that I've had here on Talk Tuesday. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. Please do like and share this content. As I said, the registration page for Future Proof Your Family is now open. So I will be posting the link to that in the comments box underneath wherever you're watching it. So it may be on Facebook, it may be on YouTube, and wherever I've ended up posting this replay. So join me next week for another Talk Tuesday, where I'm going to be speaking to a wonderful, very lively mum. She calls herself a world school mummy. In fact, I've literally just received her latest book, so I'm going to have to read a few chapters before she comes on next week. Her name is Laura Helen. I'm so excited to have that conversation with her. She lives a very interesting life. So I'm definitely, if I could take notes during the call, I will be doing that. But what I love to do is hear her stories, and she's very inspirational. So please do join me next Tuesday at 7:30. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, the registration page is now open. Please get behind this event and share it with your network. It's open to mums, dads, grandmas, grandpas, and relatives who may be caring for children aged under 16. There will be a topic of conversation for all. So thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.